in the competitive examinations, particularly in the government, what we are tested for is our knowledge or information about academics, the subjects we choose, the general knowledge, the language, the communication skill coming through the interview. But what does not get tested enough, it may get tested a bit, but what really doesn't get tested is our ethics quotient. It does not get tested. What gets tested is the intelligence quotient, but what does not get tested is the ethics quotient, the EQ. The IQ is tested, but EQ is not tested, which is called the ethics quotient. The ethics quotient is tested only when we taste power, when we are in a position of chair with privileges, with responsibilities, with resources, with power, power of judgment, power of discretion, power of giving, because government gives, government doesn't take, government is there to give. So it's your power of giving. Now, are you using the power of giving, or are you abusing the power to take? That test is not the preliminary test. That's not in the preliminary test. The IQ does not test your power of giving and your temptations of taking. That doesn't get tested. That gets tested only when you are in power. And therefore, for that is the time who you are, who you've been, what kind of ethics you grew with gets tested. And suddenly remember, the ethics is not learned when you already post to the university. Ethics also grows with each one of us. Habits grow with us. And those habits then get expressed when we are in a position of power. And when we are the leaders, we're the supervisors. And we supervise others, but who supervises us when we are in the leadership position? That is the test of ethics in public service. Then come the habits at play. Then comes temptations. How much of self-control we have and how much of sense of giving we have. How much of sense of surrender and sacrifice we have. That's the real test, my friends. So therefore remember, ethics grows. Ethics gets nourished. Ethics also gets learned. But ethics is also a choice. And in public service, ethics is a conscious choice. In some people, good habits never change. In some people, bad habits never change. They get only camouflaged. And in some people, good habits stay on till they die. They don't let the good habits go because their habits are so strong. It's like the roots of a tree. It's like the roots which cannot be seen, but the roots are very protected. And for some, some people are almost rootless. So friends, ethics you grow with. Ethics can be learned, and it can also be unlearned depending on persistence use, probably abuse. So my friends, I would say this is all about ethics. That is why each one of us is different. Each one of us is different because we all grow through 3 different E's: education, experience and environment. For all of us, the 3 E's are different. The education is different, even though the degree may be the same, but the education is different. Similarly, environment is different. We all have our own homes, we all have our own parents, we have our families, we have our friends, we have our own college, we have our own teachers. The education experience is different, the environment is different, and we're all products of 3E. And that the right E, education, right environment, right experience is equal to the right ethics. That is the 4th E. So I think that is why we're all different from the other. But once we become conscious of the purpose of which we are in the government service, the purpose is public service, not personal service, but public service. And once the purpose is remaining focused, and you don't deviate, and that too is a habit, and it's not deviated from, you remain authentic self. But once it's deviated, you want to appear honest, but you're basically not an authentic self, and you get exposed one time or the other. You think you're not exposed, but people know it, because face is the index of mind. So it does get exposed. You may look at the mirror differently, but people see you. So friends, that's what it is. So remember, we are not tested for ethics quotient. We are only tested for information quotient. And for ethics quotient, it's all within you, which gets expressed when you're in a position of power. If you keep the focus of your work in mind, which is public service, you will not deviate, but provided you've grown with it. Never late to grow. You can always learn. You can always educate yourself.